welcome to this will be episode 4 of the podcast.
Episode 4 already.
Already, man.
Yeah, man, it's flying by.
It's flying by. I think we're very excited about this podcast.
It was a really good one.
It was really good. What did we touch on in this one?
We hit so many important subjects to ourselves. We hit how we got into each of our fields and the jobs that led up to that moment.
Yes.
And we also spoke about...
Well, we got into accountability very heavy, and that's an important one for our podcast. We're about accountability, so I think that was an important topic for us to hit.
So I want to thank you in advance for checking out this episode and tuning in, because we are the Singer and the Hypnotist.
Yes. And we want you guys to join us
on our mission to be more accountable with yourselves and each other.
Yes. And we want to be consistent.
And persistent.
And like he said, hold each other accountable.
To reach all of our goals. Not just ours, yours as well. We want you in here, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Yes.
Roll the intro. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. We're the Singer and the Hypnotist.
Yes, we are. I'm the singer. One day maybe I'll be the hypnotist.
This is the first podcast where you didn't flip it.
I know, dude.
I'm the hypnotist.
We're telling the truth now. We've changed.
Yeah, man.
Things have changed. Yeah.
Dude, there's tons of change since we started podcasting, honestly.
You're right.
Actually, since we started being more involved in each other's lives, things have changed a ton.
I completely agree.
Like you've started your Freestyle Friday, for instance.
Yeah.
And then you got Travis to start Peppermint Tea Time, be accountable on that.
That's very true, yeah. Well, not only that, like just general accountability between us. Like,
exactly.
Like literally part of yesterday, I woke up and I did a full day on my Instagram. I storied out all of my habits. I woke up at 12 and it took me till 6 p.m. The habits plus recording them.
6 hours.
6 hours. It was a good day. I felt friggin' amazing at the end of those. But part of the reason that I was able to get up and be motivated to do that was from a conversation that Hadlen and I had with our friend Gabe, where we were saying to her that we keep each other accountable, and we're doing this, we're doing that.
And we're doing the Cold Shower February challenge.
Yes, we are.
Which so far, it's good. Oh, what's that? What happened to our stream now?
I don't know. I'll go.
Oh, is that only because we didn't hit play on it?
I hit play on it, so I don't know. You keep talking about cold showers. I'm going to check.
Well, yeah, our February challenge, if you didn't already know, you don't follow us on the social medias, then we are doing, Saul and I are both doing cold showers for all of February, which will then be the kickstart motivator and essentially just make it a habit at that point to continue forward on every other month, going for who knows how long, because it is good for you.
It is.
Going hot, then cold, then hot, then cold.
Yeah.
And I'm already, I've done cold showers in the past, but this time I got to the point where I can now just stand there and take it a lot quicker. Like, it's only the 4th, right? I haven't had my cold shower yet today, but
yeah.
Like, I can, what's nice too is in my bathroom I have an Alexa. So I'm just like, hey, Alexa, set a timer for 1 minute. And then I just stand there and take it.
That's a luxury.
Do a little rotisserie.
Rotisserie.
Yeah. And yeah, like the that part,
it's gone.
That was the first day only.
Yeah.
After that, now you just breathe. Actually, similar. I think I was watching some sort of Wim Hof thing.
Yeah.
And he says to breathe deep and heavy, because that does two things. It oxygenates your body, but also warms the inside of your body, which is one of the reasons why you do that thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you keep your core warm, and that's how he was able to hike up a mountain in like shorts.
Mount Everest. Not
Right.
just any.
That's just a mountain. You're right.
Yeah. Let's clarify that, because fucking Mount Everest.
That's nuts.
I'm not hiking Mount Everest in my underwear yet.
You think so? Do you think you would?
I think I would. I honestly, watching Wim Hof, I feel weirdly akin to him, because a lot of my favorite moments in life have been the coldest moments of my life.
Okay.
And I like directly, it's just this experience versus reward sort of mentality that I have, where like when I experience that cold, the comparison to my mood, the elevation of how present I become. Like maybe I have a hard time being present a lot of the times, but then you fucking fall in a really freezing lake, or you have your hot cold shower, and you're just like, I'm alive now.
Right.
I'm very much alive today. I am here. There's no avoiding that. And even just like filming the stories yesterday and doing the before, like talking to the camera beforehand,
right.
Watching the change in my mood and my right, and then after the cold shower, like I'm just chill. I'm just like, yeah, like nothing can bother me at all. I've done my cold shower. Good to go.
100%.
So
and yeah, it took you 6 hours then.
Yes.
But you're only going to get faster at it and more efficient at it.
Yes, to compact the habits, doing them regularly. Obviously, if I want to use a big word, I don't know.
Efficiency?
No, but like the efficize it's a word. I've heard it before, but my brain can't put it together.
There's a word. Oh, okay. I think I see where you're going.
You see, everybody.
But I also don't have the word in my mind right now.
Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody understands. They get it.
If you guys know what word we're trying to think of, use that hashtag and tag us on something.
On something. Yes. Yes.
So that we know.
Yes, because we need to know, obviously. But yeah, they will get faster. But even still, like, honestly, I'm not going to lie. That's one of my biggest goals in life, is to design a life where my job facilitates my habits, where basically, like, if I am making my living off of music and performing, well, then that's my excuse right there, where it's like, okay, well, I have to perform to 1,000 people tonight. I got to wake up. I got to do my 6 hours of habits. That's my job.
And you know what? That's only 6 hours out of a 16-hour day.
Exactly.
Because you sleep for 8. And you still have 16 hours left. Therefore, after that 6 hours, you still have 10 hours left.
Exactly.
To do a full-time job and have 2 extra hours after that.
Yeah.
If you're doing a full-time job, where like a traditional full-time job,
8-hour whatever,
which
work day.
You and I, we put in more hours than 8 a day into our work, into our careers. But yeah, those. As much as it was nice to just not have to worry and not have to think about what to do next because you had someone else telling you, I can't do that. To have somebody that being like, hey, do this, do that, it's not my thing anymore.
I think that I could handle it if it was like super fulfilling for me.
Right.
But everything that I did in that time period was not fulfilling at all.
So what are some of the stuff that you did before?
I've done a lot of things. One of my most memorable was I was a security guard at the music store downtown Vancouver. So it's like right on the main street. It's a really big music store. And I was the security guard for that building.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So kind of like SPI or whatever they are here in town.
Yeah. Okay. So it was really, I met a lot of, I think, pivotal people in my life, and I actually made a lot of musical progress in that time because I met these people and I put together like video ideas and recorded with some of them. Like, so I pushed the boundaries. Like, I wasn't a normal security guard. I was definitely taking advantage of my situation in my scenario.
100% you should.
You should if you're in that anyway. But like mostly, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm sorry if there's any Paladin security managers out there, but I like abused the shit out of that job. I would bring my iPad. It was my favorite thing. It'd be Saturday morning. I'd have to arrive there at 6 a.m. to open the building for the cleaner. So for me, especially at that time, like that was an early rise for me, and I had to bus still, so it's an hour bus ride down there.
Oh yeah.
So I wake up, I wake up super early. Everybody in the house, there's no chance they're awake. There's no chance they're alive. So I wake up, get my coffee in, head down there. I'd head to Tim Hortons first and buy my breakfast sandwich and my fucking coffee, and then I'd open up that building for the cleaner. And basically, I had nothing to do for like 3 hours after that because I was just literally there to open up the building for the cleaner. So I just pop open my Twitch app, and I would watch Night Blue, who is a League of Legends streamer. At the time, I was playing a lot of League of Legends, and he was my favorite, and he only streamed early. So that was the only day I could actually watch him because I didn't wake up early enough to watch him.
Okay.
So I got to just sit there, enjoy my fucking food. I'd play it on the speakers in the system, and just...
So it was blasting.
It was blasting.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Blasting. I had my iPad. Like it was a really good time, and I always just like loved. I was obviously getting more out of Night Blue, like from a personality standpoint, but that was my TV. That was what I watched, and he had really good. I don't know. He was just motivating in some way.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just goes to show it's like, if you don't like what you're doing, you're going to find ways to not do it. And that's your first indicator that that's not what you should be doing.
Yeah. I found ways to manipulate it to enjoy it. And I did the same thing at every job. So I worked at Subway. And again, sorry she was a wonderful owner of Subway, but I definitely, you're not supposed to have free subs, but I just made them and I ate them. And I ate the cookie dough. Frozen
How
cookie
is the
dough.
cookie dough?
Oh, it's really good, man.
They got phenomenal cookies.
They
so,
do.
I mean, it's got to be.
If I was eating them like every day, I'd just go in and be like, every day. And I'd like stack up a sub, like the biggest, best, baddest sub you could eat. And I'd just eat that. I'd just make it, and I just wouldn't ring it through at the end. I was like, I'm working at Subway. I make this amount of money. I work hard for you. I deserve this sub.
They should give you at least a free sub a day.
There's a discount. It's not free.
Only a discount.
Only a discount, yeah.
That's weird. They
I
have so
know.
much money, and it's like...
She didn't. She was a struggling owner.
Okay.
She inherited it from her dad. And she was learning. She was taking business courses and stuff.
Because, like, if you make a sub and then the customer's like, oh, no, you messed up, you got to redo it, then you got to just throw that out, right?
That never happens because I'm an amazing sandwich artist.
But if that were to happen,
probably
that's what they have to do, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean...
But then health and safety thing, whatever, it's always comes back to that or something where you shouldn't eat. I don't know.
I see. I've never had a food job, so I have no knowledge or...
One thing I want to say about this, and because this is just an interesting thing, that I actually worked at that Subway for about a month, and then my buddy also worked at that Subway a little bit later. Same Subway.
Okay.
Different times. And funny enough, this just shows you like personality type and like how you approach the world. But he like fucking hated everything about it. He really didn't like the owner. He was so annoyed at her all the time. They would fight, and he just had a terrible experience there. Me, yeah, like whatever. There was a lot of stuff I didn't agree with the owner, but I just like was like whatever. She's just learning, I enjoy her personality, and I just like her. So because of that, she really liked me. So my experience at this Subway was like super chill, and his was like hectic. There was drama.
Right.
So it just shows you like you kind of define
the world that you live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. The world is a reflection of the way you think.
Yes.
If you're going out there and thinking, this guy's out to get me, this guy's out to get me, this guy just trying to be a dick, then you're going to be a dick and you're going to elicit those responses from people and you're only going to focus on those responses from people. Whereas if you go into with a mindset of happiness, then all you see is happiness. Even if somebody gives a slight inclination of being angry or upset, you actually don't even register it in your mind that happened, and you kind of erase that and only focus on the good and the happy portions.
Yeah. You go into a growth mentality, right?
Because both are there.
Yeah.
Like the bad, good, the bad, everything.
Exactly.
But if you only focus on one area, then that's all you see.
Exactly.
Because we have selective hearing just as humans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just like, I feel like you and I have that in common, where we have a growth and learning mentality. So anything that happens to us, it's kind of like, I own this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might have been a terrible thing that happened, but I own it, because then I get to learn from it.
Exactly.
Perspective.
And they make good stories.
Yes.
And they show your growth and how you became who you are.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So how did you, before you ask me a question, I'm going to flip it on you quick.
Wow.
How did you get into music, sir?
Well, that's a great question. It's a great question.
I know.
I'm
pretty good at those.
I'm great. Welcome. We're very humble here.
So how'd you get into music, sir?
My mom and my dad, when they met, my mom played a little bit of music, but my dad was really into music, and he kind of taught her more, and then she like expanded from there and went hard on it. And like, so together they actually toured for 10 years playing the bars, like across Canada.
Really?
Yeah. So they had that, and then actually they left that behind. Like my dad switched careers, and my mom eventually switched careers, but she actually, when I was alive, put out 2 solo albums that did really well. She played at a festival called Lilith Fair, which is like a really fucking big deal. And she actually, at the time when she played Lilith Fair, this is really cool. She was an opener of Lilith Fair, and she was the other opener of Lilith Fair on the same level as her at the time was Tegan and Sarah.
Oh, damn.
So she was literally at the same level as Tegan and Sarah.
That's cool.
And had she pursued it further, 100% would have, boom. Her trajectory, where she was headed, was like up and away. But basically they told her, hey, you're at this level, you're doing well. If you want to take it to the next level, you got to move to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to fuck up the family. She didn't want to do that to us, so she said, nah.
That's interesting. Because we're in a totally different era.
We are.
You don't even have to move anywhere.
You don't.
Because of the interwebs. You can tune in live on Facebook or any other platform and just hear that person. Or see that person interact.
Does not matter where you live now.
Not at all.
But then it did. And so from there, she also sort of stopped doing music. And so kind of when I started doing music, like it wasn't around a whole bunch, but my oldest brother, hyper fucking intelligent human, and he just like knows business and how to make money, and he succeeds in the real world. So he sort of already took this region, and I was like daunted against that because of how good he was. Then my next brother, also older than me, the middle brother, another brilliant motherfucker, also now really amazing at business and real world success in that way. But he was really into acting at the time in basketball. So I felt like, I wasn't going to be an actor because of how dedicated he was. And I was a little bit lazy when I was young, so I wasn't going to go hard into sports. So I hadn't really found my thing, and I didn't have an identity pretty much when I was young, and I was just like addicted to video games. And then come grade 8, actually a little bit before grade 8, my friends decided, let's start a band. It was really nothing special, but we had a lot of fun, and they asked me to be the singer, which at the time I honestly could not sing.
Really?
Couldn't sing.
Okay.
Like,
it's weird to think.
I know. But you would hear it and you'd be like, there's just nothing there. I didn't have any of the strength needed, trained for that.
Yep.
And so we just like played around in that. It was more fun than anything else. But then there was this shift where in grade 8 for Christmas, my mom bought me a guitar. And because I was interested in music, so she was like, yeah, here's a guitar and set you up with some lessons. So that, and then our buddy, we were in a band with 2 girls at the time, me and my buddy Reed and these 2 girls. And we weren't very serious, but then our other buddy, who was our best friend, started playing drums. And we were like, oh, we're starting a band.
Perfect.
We're starting a band. Yeah. And like we started this band, I started doing guitar lessons, and he actually practiced at his church. So he invited us to practice at his church. And the pastor at the church was like this intense guitar player, like pretty successful musician.
Okay.
And he would like sit in on our practices and like guide us, but he kind of hijacked the practices, and I wasn't a very good guitarist, so he'd like focus with Reed, and like Reed would be able to keep up. I'd literally just fucking sit there and be like, I'm embarrassed about my musical talents right now, and it'd be like sad. I think that's why I kind of doubled down on the voice, because I was like, I need something that catches up with
differentiating
this
factor.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
But so when I started playing music, I don't know what the defining moment was, but there was actually a defining moment in grade 8 where something like, I used to do a lot of visualization when I went to sleep. So I'd lay in bed and I'd always visualize my perfect future. I'd fantasize. Everything I wanted, I had it. So out of that, one night, I visualized myself on stage in front of people. And I've never had such a, I guess, like truthful feeling, especially in my young sort of depressive state. It was just like this truth that showed up that I was like, this is something that exists for me, and this is something I'm going to do. And right then and there, I decided music is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm not succeeding at school. I'm not succeeding at sports. I'm not succeeding in this way or that way. The most strategic plan for me right now in grade 8 is to dedicate fully to music, because it's something I have there's something there. And if I follow this, by the time I'm at a certain age, it'll pay off, because I understand that other people don't know what they want to do. So if I just pick and I go with it, then this will pay off for me.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
At a young age.
At a young age. And I actually went to my dad and I said, Dad, in grade 8, I said, Dad, I'm quitting school. I'm going to be a musician. And he was like, oh my God. Oh my God. You can't sing. You don't have rhythm. Holy fuck. What have I done? Because he encouraged me to play music. He's like, shit. He's like, well, if you're quitting school, you got to get a job. And I went, oh, fuck that. That's not a good strategic plan. Like, no. I'll have more time if I stay in school, then I can do music. I was like, okay. But from there, he'd like come down with bongo drums and like work on my rhythm, help me, blah, blah, blah. So I practiced, took it serious, blah, blah, blah. And then I moved to Vancouver for that period, and he actually didn't hear me the whole time. And when I came home from Vancouver, he was floored because of the progression. He was like, he just couldn't believe it. He was like, you actually did it. Like, you just went out and you were determined enough and you created. He was just like, holy shit, you can sing, you have rhythm. Where did this come from? Yeah. So that's my story of music right there.
Okay, so in Vancouver, what was it you think that...
Self-reflection. Complete.
Yeah.
Like, in Saskatoon, it was more of an outward process of music that it was about that we had ego in our band.
Yep.
And people were really reacting to us and liking us. So we weren't putting in the work because we were just automatically liked. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of lazy about that. And like, yeah, we were getting stuff done, but the ethic wasn't there. And everybody was validating us. So it was just like, yeah, dope. We're awesome. We're good at music. Dope. But then when I moved to Vancouver, it was just such an eye-opener, because at first when I moved out there, I no longer had a band, like solo.
Yep.
So I started to do solo performances, and that in itself, obviously, it's a lot more raw version, stripped back, really makes you be like, okay, how talented am I, or how is this translating? So that period was a lot of growth. And then when Reed moved out, we actually rekindled our friendship, and he moved out, and we started pursuing music again. We couldn't really make anything happen, so we spent a lot of time being the most insane perfectionists for like 3 years. 3 years of just like, it's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And also we were smoking weed every single day at that time, so there was a lot of criticism and judgment that came in. But I will say, on the other end of that, during that, it's a lot of pain. It's hard because you're not letting yourself create, and like you're constantly reflecting. But at the end of it, I will look back and say, you know what, there was a point to that perfectionism and the criticism, because I am where I am now, and we just spent that whole time growing. So there's positives to the negatives when I look back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you can find them,
Yeah.
because a lot of people can't find them.
True.
And to be able to find them, that's the key.
I agree.
That's the key, man.
It's how you react to everything, right?
So that perfection area, that time of your life, that was like a grind.
Yeah.
You know, so you'd like play something and be like, no, it's got to be better. That's good though.
Honestly.
You need that.
Honestly.
I think you need a balance between that and just being able to let things go.
Yeah.
Being perfect, but not unperfect at the same time, or imperfect rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
Words, things.
Words. Words.
So,
Hey.
what's next, man? I think our stream should.
Well,
that happened once already.
Yeah, it's going. It just pauses. If there's anybody here, I just want to quickly say hey. And
There is, because people are listening. They're to the replay.
I know.
People that hear us.
I know that,
are here.
but I'm saying if there's anybody live, I just want to quickly say hey.
Oh, I see.
Thanks for making it this morning.
I see what you're saying.
It's early. You're probably before work or whatever, and
Yeah, this is really early. We're trying something new.
yeah,
And it's like, our thought is Monday morning,
Monday morning.
hit the nail on the fucking head and just fucking go.
Yeah,
Because it's the beginning of the week.
yeah,
Everybody else out there is getting up for work. So why not be in their Facebook feed,
yeah,
doing something live,
yeah,
working on our craft of being able to communicate
yeah,
and
uplift
and learn. Exactly. First thing Monday morning for everybody to listen in on as they get ready to work. So perhaps they just get their phone out and hit play and then just put it down.
Yeah.
Or perhaps they cast it to their TV or their audio devices or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or listen on their way to work.
For me, I think that if I would have had that when I was a security guard, where I'd put on something this is way more productive.
Yeah,
than
because you're saying
TV.
it's 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Man, imagine a 3-hour podcast.
I would learn a lot. I would learn a lot from that. And Hadlen and I are 100%, I would call each other, you're my accountability coach. I'm your accountability coach.
Yeah, that's something that we came up with recently.
Yeah.
Within the last week or so.
Yeah.
As to the direction of what we're doing, really.
Yeah.
And we brought it back. We simplified it. And essentially what this podcast is a way to be accountable.
Yeah.
So, obviously we want listeners and people watching, but we're keeping each other accountable.
We are keeping each other accountable.
And that is just creating so much more.
Yeah.
So we're creating more content, which is important for our personal brands.
It is.
As well as this brand. And we're keeping that momentum and just increasing that wave.
It's a foundation for us in our daily lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something of value that we've added to each other. And I feel we've gotten it to a point now that we hope to basically bring that to other people who are looking for motivation and for accountability in their life.
Exactly.
Because sometimes it's hard to be accountable with yourself, and I understand that fully because I'm just like not an accountable person for myself. That's something I'm really working on. But when I have somebody, like that's how I started the Freestyle Fridays. I'm now about to be at number 26, which is half a year. So half a year of every single week doing these. The only reason that that was possible for me was because I had Hadlen basically go, yo, you're accountable to me, man. I want to see this shit. So that's right there. That's accountability. And that's what we hope as this dynamic duo, the singer and the hypnotist, to bring to you guys.
Exactly. So I think maybe what we can do is for you, if you want to join in with us and have us be your accountability coaches, so to speak.
Yeah.
So now you're accountable to us. We want you to comment or send us an email or send us a DM, something,
Yeah.
and just tell us what your goal is
Yeah.
and when you're going to complete it.
Yeah.
And we will keep you accountable to that.
We will.
We'll put it on our calendar, and you'll be part of our show.
Yeah.
And we will 100% keep you accountable. We'll reach out to you halfway towards that date, depending on what it is. Maybe if it's in 2 weeks, we'll chime in about a week and find out, hey,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we will freaking personally put it in our calendars.
Yep.
Because that shit's super important to us.
Exactly. And then we'll even talk about it on here.
Yeah.
And just see how many people we can have grow with us.
Yeah.
And just be accountable to each other. So not only will you be accountable to us, but we're accountable to you.
That's exactly, and that's the purpose for us, is taking our accountability to the next level. Because if you're accountable because we make you accountable, well then you better freaking, we better freaking be accountable ourselves.
Exactly.
And we're not liars. We're very straightforward, truthful people, Hadlen and I, and we, more than anything, we want to live and respect ourselves. And to respect ourselves, we have to be accountable. So that's, boom, right there.
And like you look at the top performers in the world.
Yeah.
Like they all have coaches. They have strength coaches. They have nutrition coaches. They have coaches for different aspects of their life.
Yep.
Which, of course, that's definitely going to cost a lot of money, so they can afford that. But if we take a step back further, just as simple as somebody in the personal training world, let's say.
Yeah.
A personal trainer, you hire them to train you, to go to the gym and train you, keep you accountable to go to the gym and do the exercises. They also hire somebody as a personal trainer for them because you need somebody to keep you accountable, to keep you going, to be breathing down your neck and being like, one more, one more.
You know what?
Right?
That made me think of my time in Saskatoon. Now as a musician, I'm at this point where I'm actually part of this ridiculous musical community. And I do sound for a living, so I'm constantly watching these musicians, or I'll go to their concerts. And they hold me accountable as a musician because they freaking blow my mind with their talent. And I'm like, shit, I got to step up. So the community keeps me accountable. So I think that's what we're bringing here, too.
That's awesome, man.
Exactly.
I'm glad you said that because the magician and hypnotist community has been in the past very toxic. It continues to be very toxic. However, something recently is going on where there is kind of like a collective of magicians getting together to create a group in Saskatchewan, the first one ever for, I think, the last couple decades. I think we had one a long time ago, but it died, and they're trying to resurrect it essentially and bring it back so that way we can just be more of a community in the magician space.
You have to have that.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to, in my opinion.
I agree. It's just, it seems like there's more magicians from Regina that want to join, and not so many from Saskatoon.
They're maybe stuck in their ways, like they're just used to what they're used to, and
But I want, like, I mean, maybe Regina and Saskatoon, maybe they need to be two separate ones.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of Saskatchewan could be in just one.
Easy.
We're small enough.
Easy. And that's everybody wins when you're connected and you're
Yeah.
helping each other and you're learning from each other,
Exactly.
you know?
And that will bring competitions to Saskatchewan.
That'd be sick.
Magic
That'd be
competitions,
sick.
right?
I would go to a magic competition 100%.
Oh yeah.
I always am mind blown. I always learn so much from watching you perform. I do. I take away a lot of notes for my personal life. I'm like, oh,
Okay. It's funny because I don't know. I just do it and then I'm like, that was okay. I
Yeah.
could have did way better than that though.
But that's
And then
that's the thing. You constantly, your bar is being raised all the time, raising that bar. So you like,
you're only as good as your last show.
exactly. And you can only see it from within that perspective. So I perform and I go like, yeah, like, well, I knew that I didn't do enough vocal exercises that week. And, you know, I didn't practice my guitar scales. So I kind of like, you know, I did okay. And then you're like, well, you, like your voice sounded fucking amazing and you're this and you're that. You know, people tell me that, but I'm like, from my perspective, being like, I understand, and I understand like me versus me 5 years ago, 100%, right? So I've built it up to a point where, yeah, automatically everybody can say like, oh, you know, you're doing good. But then if I just took their word for it, like, where would that improvement be? Like, I can see the gap.
That's important too, because I think when you're telling that story before, you only got positive feedback, and you're like, oh my God, we're great. We don't have to practice this and that.
Exactly.
Whereas now, you don't need people's feedback to know that you need to keep working harder.
Yeah.
Because future Saul in
Yeah.
20 years works harder than you even know is possible.
Exactly. Exactly.
Which is crazy to think about.
That is crazy.
Because like we're fucking working hard right now.
I understand, because all of a sudden, because I've gone through that visualization of being like, okay, imagine myself in this next step. Imagine myself when I am making a living off of music, right? So I sit down, I visualize myself there, put myself there. I pretend I'm literally surrounded by that existence. And I realize like, yeah, all this shit I'm doing now, like the Freestyle Fridays, when I sit down to record songs, this and that, all of a sudden I'll be so goddamn accountable because I have however many fans who are like, I get this from this, I get this from this, I get so I'm going to wake up every day like Gary V, and people are like, Gary V, how do you go so hard? Gratitude. I'm going to wake up so charged with gratitude for my life that I will work like 16-hour days and not even think about it, because I'll just be like, I love my life. I love what I do every day. I go on stage, I perform for these people, I talk to these people, I get re-motivated, I create cool songs. Like, I'll just be charged up. Right now, I'm working on bringing that into my life now and feeling it today.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. When I'm actually there, it'll just be work, 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 but it won't be work because that's life.
Exactly. By then, everything right now that you feel maybe there's a challenge to it, maybe it takes a little longer than you'd like, you'll have that streamlined.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to, for instance, get into that frame of mind instantly that you need to.
Yes.
Something that maybe takes 4, 6, 10 hours to get into instantly.
Maybe
You
I'll
wake
always,
up. Exactly.
always be in that frame of mind.
Right. Exactly.
At one point, anyway.
Yeah.
Because, like, I heard there's
That's the
these.
question. How do you get that?
Well, okay, so I watched a video one time on these Olympic level meditators. So basically, you know, monks who have done it their whole, they've done more than 10,000 hours, right?
Yes.
Which is crazy for meditation when you really think about that. So they set them up with scans, and they're scanning for gamma in them. So we get gamma.
It's going through us right now.
Exactly. We get gamma when we do a workout, or like you get joy, basically. When you feel joy in your life, you got gamma. But it's like it
You're
fades.
talking about like gamma rays from the sun?
No, I'm talking about like there's alpha waves and there's beta waves, there's theta waves.
Oh, but no,
there's
you're not
gamma.
talking about gamma
No.
rays that are currently penetrating through us.
No, I'm talking
and the
about
entire Earth. No.
gamma
Okay.
from within.
Okay.
And that's when you feel like joy. So when you're in love, you feel gamma.
Okay.
So basically, this is a thing that for most people, it's short-lived. For us, we experience it momentarily, and it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
For Olympic-level meditators, 10,000 hours or more, they sustain gamma. And when they when they hook them up to the machines,
You can measure this?
they can measure it.
How do they measure it?
I don't know. I'm not that.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not that
Oh,
intelligent.
yeah. No problem.
Look it up.
Research later.
Research later. This is more. I love this idea. I love this concept. So, and then when they hook them up to the scans and they do a gratitude meditation, it fucking shoots up 100% their gamma.
Okay. So it's already consistent.
Yes.
And then when they focus on it, that's amazing.
So you can imagine that, and I can very clearly imagine what that feels like, because I've felt that when I've done these meditations and I've gotten to this point where I know that's what it's doing, where I leave it and I'll enter a scenario like in the past, I'll go do sound and I'll be a little bit stressed out because I'm like, I want to do a good job. This band's important to me, I'm a little bit anxious. When I do my meditations, my deep meditations, I roll up to those same places. That's gamma, because I'm just like on cloud 9, like nothing can touch me.
Yep.
I'm good. I'm so happy. Like everything is right. Everything that happens is right. That's all. Something happens, it's meant to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
Going with the flow.
It's good. You just like accept everything.
Is that flow state? Would you call that?
That's a good word to put to it, I think. Flow state. Okay, I do want to go back because
Back where?
I want to go back here because you asked me about some of my jobs before where I'm at.
Okay.
And I was insanely curious about you as well. I want you to go
you
in
got
depth.
there.
Yes. I knew I was going back.
Dang it.
I knew I was gonna.
All right. Well, what am I supposed to do again?
Come on. Tell me about your
It's a really nice light over there, by the way.
It is. I really like this light. Can we bring it on? You're trying to distract?
Whoa.
Yeah. God.
What was that audio?
That was a reminder, a buzzer that I have set.
No, it's like as soon as you touch the light.
It was a buzzer that I have set to remind me to get back on track on asking you about your previous jobs.
After I try to change the subject.
I know.
I get it.
Coy.
So I've had tons of jobs, man. But what's interesting is every single job, I integrate a little bit of each one into what I do now.
Yeah.
Looking back is like, oh yeah, okay, so I went there to learn this, I went there to learn this, so on and so forth, and now I'm using all of it. But going through it, there was no rhyme or reason why I did those jobs.
I get that a lot. Like, I understand that.
It's, yeah, like even as simple as just like sales at Sport Check, for instance. You know, I learned actually a ton about sales and how to sell a shoe, how to upsell.
Yeah.
Right, and then I brought that. I've done a lot of sales jobs. I've done that, SaskTel. That taught me how to be on the phone and calling out and selling outbound calls, and also how to take an inbound call. Actually, essentially customer service on a phone. Taught me a lot about that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, honed sales. And then at that moment, too, playing with my language and the pacing of my voice. And when I slow it down and talk quieter, they listen more. And when I speed up and talk a little bit faster, they get more excited. So when I talk about the product, anyways, that's like, I'm using that now when I'm like trying to book shows.
Yeah.
Calling out to clients, potential clients, and doing those calls where you get a random number calling you and you got to get them to not hang up on you.
And I've seen this guy do it a lot, actually, and every time I've been like, fucking phone sales. When you answer a phone, I'm like, damn. Those phone sales skills. I've seen you answer, I've seen you make outbound calls as well. I've seen both, and every time I've been like, it's just like when you're performing, it's just like when you hop on stage and you go into a state.
Oh yeah. You can almost see that switch. Eh?
Yes. You go
different mode.
Hi, I'm Hadlen the hypnotist. I can't even do it, but you're just like, whoosh. Hello, I'm ready for you. I'm professional and I am clear. Doesn't matter. You could have been like in the middle of like a Fortnite game.
Yeah.
And then just like pause that and just like totally switch. You could have just been yelling like, fucking noobs.
And then all of a sudden,
and then whoosh. Hi. Hello.
Yeah, I think that that state change training, I guess, started even when I was a kid in martial arts.
Yes.
Because martial arts, yeah, it's about your body, but it's more about your mind than anything.
Yes.
And the tests that we had to do, like I talked about on my brown belt test, and that was like a life-changing moment of my life. But like before that, those tests are almost harder because you haven't experienced them yet. Like the yellow belt test from our school is one of the hardest tests. And anyways, I did that I don't even know how old I was. I was a kid doing that test, and you're doing 20 knuckle push-ups every time you make a mistake, and then minimum 20 knuckle push-ups whenever, and this is on hardwood floor.
Wow.
You're just a kid. And like, it was in the middle of the summer. It was so hot. I sweat so much as it is.
Yeah.
Like it was everything from them not letting you drink water because you need to be able to control that, to doing all these push-ups, to exerting yourself, and then when it comes time, performing your form.
Wow.
Your series of moves that you've learned. You bow. The moment before you even bow, you change your state and you're focused. So no matter how tired you were before, because in that class, which in life there is no tired.
No.
Right? Of course, yeah, your body is fatigued and whatever, but you can change your state immediately, go through, and then perform, execute everything 100%. And it's almost like you weren't even exercising before that because you were able to do it. And then afterwards, that's where your rest is after.
You let yourself,
But being able to just like, you put your body and your mind through so much, and then all of a sudden, all right, you got to perform your form now. Boom. And then you do. And you do it like not perfect because of course we're lower belt levels, but at the higher levels, like as a black belt now, you can perform any of those forms. It's on a whim.
Built into you at this point.
Yeah.
That's ultimate discipline. I respect that more than anything, to be honest. Like I've always been extremely fascinated with I don't know how to define it, but maybe like just cultures that have discipline and respect as a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Because they carry that through life, and therefore they tend to respect everything, every moment, the nature around us as well as the people around us. And I think that's a really important part of life is respect. And
definitely,
I feel, and I want to ask you if you agree, like I feel like that really sets you up for success.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Like if I wasn't doing martial arts, who knows what type of kid I would have been.
Yeah.
Like that, the discipline, the confidence, and because like no one even knew when I was growing up, no one knew that I was in martial arts.
Wow.
I just did it.
Just put in the work.
Because we're also taught not to be, cocky and arrogant. Like, hey, I'm doing this, I can beat you up. Like that was completely the opposite.
Yeah.
So we're taught to be humble and not walk in and be like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, right? So like I didn't tell anybody I did martial arts, only my close friends, which I maybe had like one.
That's cool.
One close friend at a time.
Yeah.
And then and like so many times there's just like bullies. I was like everyone's got bullies, right?
I was just gonna say, even before you go, I was just gonna say that sets you up. Not telling anybody that you're in martial arts, that really sets you up for these moments where you just fuck people up.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
Oh, respect.
Didn't.
Respect.
But like anytime a bully would come up and try to mess with you.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
And
you have no idea.
It's the energy that you hold. Like that's a thing, man. If somebody if in America, if somebody has a gun hidden away on their person, they're gonna act a lot different than if they don't. Mm-hmm. Like in a confrontation, right?
Yep.
So it is all about your energy. That's a whole fucking nother thing.
Oh yeah.
But just the fact that you had this smoking gun, metaphorically.
Okay. Yeah.
That you've trained to be this person that most people don't have that sort of training. So you're this level of confidence that, yeah, if somebody tries to bully you, like I felt the same way because I had 2 older brothers who beat the shit out of me.
As brothers
As
are
they do.
supposed to, right?
As they do.
I don't know if they're supposed to, but
I
that's funny.
honestly, again, finding the positive out of it. I remember being young and I'd be like, I thank my brothers so much because when I go to school, when I go interact with the rest of the world, I have exactly what you had, that energy where it's like even the older kids would try to like, and it's like,
and you've dealt with worse.
you can't.
So they were just prepping you.
They were just prepping me.
Yeah.
You know? So that's where I choose to take the positive out of it because it's easy. It would have been easy to dwell. Like there's times they held me underwater or put me in a box and sat on it, and those things created like trauma for me that I've had to work through, and I don't even know now if you could put me in a box and I'd be chill. I don't know. I like to think so.
A little bit of claustrophobia.
A little bit of claustrophobia.
Okay.
So like there's that level of that shit, but I understand. Looking at them, I understand. I'm like, they're children. They were just reacting to what was given to them. And it's unfortunate that it is that way. And it's unfortunate that I had to take the brunt of it, but it's not their fault. They're just kids.
Yep.
They just react. I understand that. So I can't hold it against them. All I can do is instead be like, this is why they're prepping me. Now I do live in a very calm state because it's like, yeah, I've dealt with.
And then no one could bully you.
No one could
right?
bully me.
They would try to say something.
Yeah.
They would try to do this or elicit some response, and you're like, and then what's funny is because of the reaction of being confident and being like, whatever, man. Then they don't even bully you anymore because they're like, that's no fun.
Exactly.
This guy's no fun. I'll bully someone else that's going to give some sort of response back to me.
Exactly.
Which is really crazy to think about because, like...
I think we've mastered that response to people.
Yeah.
Like whenever people come to me triggered, they're like, I'm triggered. I want to fight with you. Even just like vocally, they're just like, I'm upset and I want to talk to you in this way. And they really, they want you to justify their emotion and their feelings. So they want you to, yeah, I'm mad too. But what actually ends up happening is I'm so goddamn positive and I'm so goddamn like, I know that people, it's a game of power. So they come, they're like, I have this, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry to have upset you.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
You just reminded me of, I just learned about like a magic word.
Yes.
To dissolve any confrontation, any aggressive, whatever. And the word is ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. That does trigger something. That's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. And then what follows after is like you apologize for making them feel that way, and you just right.
Exactly.
But by saying ouch, that instantly makes them, the person that's upset and angry, you say ouch, and it's like, oh shit, I just hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
cuts through their ego.
People don't like hurting other people.
They don't. But they don't know they're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that cuts through their ego, and they're like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to hurt
But yeah,
you.
that new magic word, man.
That's
Ouch.
great. It's great.
For dissolving aggressive.
Get it.
Yeah.
I honestly though, I've so mastered that skill, and it's probably not good to say you've mastered something because then you probably haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that scale where it's like, this is real mastery.
Yeah.
And right here you say you mastered it.
Yeah.
And then you realize you know nothing.
Exactly.
And then when you actually master it, you know nothing.
So I challenge the universe, because now I've said I've mastered it. I challenge the universe now, obviously, in that moment to bring me more challenge.
See, with more attention, with more followers, with more fans, becomes more haters.
Yes, more triggering scenarios.
Be challenged a lot going forward.
Yes. And that's a skill that for me I really choose to master. Like I choose to put a lot of time into it, because to me you can only choose how you react to things.
Yep.
So if I'm at this point where the second that somebody comes to me, I used to feel like I'd get triggered a little bit in my heart, but it's become so second nature to my subconscious that I flip the switch instantly. It's a state change for me now. It's a trigger. Anytime I feel that emotion, I go, nope, flip, think in that person's eyes, you know? instantly just like rewire, and I'm like, no. So I actually don't, for like, it's been years since I've experienced triggering stuff. Like I don't even experience that because I don't put it out. It's not an energy that I hold. So people aren't triggered around me. I'm not experiencing triggered people.
That's good.
It's wonderful.
That's great. Fantastic.
It's great. It's amazing.
Even like being around in a bar doing sound, like there's got to be people there. They just don't interact with you.
Yeah. They avoid me because like I'm not. It's like the same thing as the bully, right? It's not fun if I just cut through everything and I just like instantly go to the heart of the issue, and I just call that out. That's not fun for someone in an ego place.
No, not
it's
at
like,
all.
oh fuck this guy. Fuck you. I'm going to be an ego person over here. That's too much. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Tell me how you got into magic.
How I got into magic?
And while you do that, I am going to open up Facebook on my phone to make sure that like it's not...
yeah, because our heads-up display, whatever you want to call it, is currently showing that it's paused, so it could be paused.
It could be.
Lots of kinks we're working out on this journey here.
We're just
trying out a new program, actually, OBS.
Yes.
Open broadcast software, I believe. So, okay, got into magic. Well, technically speaking, I've had a couple magicians come to birthday parties when I was a child. My grandpa taught me this card trick, which was like a math-based card trick, which I couldn't understand even though I knew the method of it. And I would sit there and I would do it and I'd be like, how is it like that? And I like sat there day after day, and then like eventually I was like, oh, and I understood exactly why it ended up being like that. And it was no longer amazing to me anymore. But like what he taught me, I like broke it down, figured out exactly why it worked, why it was a certain number, and why, okay, you're doing this instead of that. You're doing a cut instead of a shuffle for it, perhaps.
So you just had to know.
Yeah, I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. Like, he told me what to do to get to it.
Yeah.
Because most, I didn't say, I was both and most at the same time. So, most math-based magic tricks just work no matter what. If you know what to do, they work. So, with this trick, essentially what happens is you have a full deck of cards. If you're missing a card, it doesn't work. You have a full 52 pile deck. And then by doing a series, and like I vaguely remember this trick now.
Yeah.
I would never perform it because honestly, I don't know, it's not that good.
Right.
But I digress. You put them all out at the very end. Somehow, each pile is a 4 of a kind.
Just based on math.
Just based on math.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like one of the first tricks I learned. And then in grade 3, I did this trick where I would make a knot on a rope vanish. I would do it on my shoelace and whatnot, and I would hold it up, and then I would grab the knot, and it would vanish from the rope. And I would do that in front of the class.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Because that's when I go back to like the moment that music really took me. It must have, and that when you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, it was some performance. Like we performed, and I got reaction from the crowd, and I was at that moment like,
we'll see.
Let's go.
For me though,
yeah,
that wasn't the moment where I chose magic as a career.
Yeah.
I still wanted to be in the NBA when I was a kid.
Fair.
And so being in grade, you know what? It wasn't grade 3. That was grade. It's either grade 2 or grade 1, actually.
But that fueled.
Anyways,
fueled. An interest.
Exactly.
Forward in you're right.
In magic, yes. Yeah. Like from that point, I started thinking about magic as a magician.
Yeah.
Where I knew, hey, there's always something simple behind the scenes going on that we're not aware about, because magicians were only applauded when you don't see the skill.
Yeah.
Whereas every other area of the world, you're applauded for being able to see the skill.
Yeah.
But we're the only ones where if you see it, then we're bad.
True. Actually, doing live sound is like that, because if the band sounds great,
Mm-hmm.
then they come and, oh, it sounds so good. Good job.
Yeah, you're right. It isn't just magicians.
And if the band, like physically, if the band is not doing it and there's nothing I can do about it, well, guess what? That's their friends. They're not friends with the sound guy. They're fucking friends. They came to see this band. So they're not expecting the band to suck. So if anything's going wrong, they're like, it's not my friends. It's the fucking sound guy. What are you doing? I've had people like look at me, be like, and I'm just like, oops. I can't explain, because it's like all this technical knowledge in between the knowing.
Mm.
I can't condense it into this information.
That's
right
funny.
now. But yes, so I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's not how my performance, music doesn't work that way necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
unless you make a mistake and you show that you made a mistake. But people are so forgiving with music. They're so like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's another thing martial arts taught me, is that, when you're out, if you're going to perform your form,
Yeah.
or your kata, and you're going to perform it for a group of people,
Mm.
if you make a mistake, don't acknowledge it and just continue through, because they don't know what it's supposed to look like.
Yep.
They only know you make a mistake if you show it.
Yeah.
So if you just continue through as if nothing happened,
Yeah.
then they don't know.
Exactly. But
Which-
with magic.
In magic, I took that in a most literal sense. I do this spike trick where there's 4 cups and a spike underneath one of the cups.
Yeah.
And the first cup, this was in La Loche, like long time ago, within like a year of when I went full-time, or not full-time, when I went to professional with magic.
Yeah.
So I went professional with magic at age 19, 20.
Does that mean like you were making a living off of
Yeah,
it?
well, I was making money off of it.
Okay.
Where I actually
Yeah.
charged money.
Yeah. So you built that skill, and at that point, it's like, okay, I've put this time in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in La Loche. I'm doing a full hour show. And near the end of the show, I used to close with that effect.
Yeah.
I still sometimes do, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. I messed up somehow. But the first cup I put my hand on had the spike in it. I wasn't sure, and I like put a little bit of weight down. And they're foam cups, right?
Yeah.
So then I went through. As soon as I felt it, I lifted my hand away, and I was like, found it. First try. Because, like, how do you come back from that? There's 4 cups. Yeah, I know. They bought it, and they're like, okay,
Yay.
good enough. At the end, I actually, what I did was like, all right, found it first try. So let's try it a little bit differently now. We're going to put this in another cup and shuffle it up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my hand is like
Bleeding.
bleeding. Right? And I'm like trying to like get the blood away, trying to like wipe it on. Anyways, at the end of it, went to high five my volunteer, and they went to high five, and then they're like, oh, and they like slowly brought their hand away, and
Nice.
yeah, maybe not high five that hand.
Pound it. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, there's this hand.
Damn.
Awkward.
Damn.
Yeah.
Those are real consequences.
They ended up having me back the next year though. So I mean,
You did a good job.
I don't know.
You done it. You hit it well.
But going up that far for how much they were paying is not worth it.
Right. And you learn that.
Anymore.
But you learn that. Like, you only learn that from experience. Like, there's the amount of times I've done things in the beginning because I'm like, I don't know how much to charge. I'll just this much. And then you do the work and you're like, holy, no, not that much. No, way more. Way more. You just like, it's easy to see a more limited, like,
Yep.
view of it and be like, well, I'll get experience from it. But you do, the value comes from learning that lesson of I am worth more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the only way to find that out is just try it.
Very true.
Trial and error.
Very true.
Really.
And that's something that I admire in you a lot is you've put in a lot of trial and error. And when it comes to like monetary stuff, like, you know your value, and you're like, because sales is something that you are really good at,
Okay.
I think you're really good at sales.
Okay.
I honestly do. And because of that, I think that it's something, well, it's something you've practiced for a long time because you've had to sell yourself as Hadlen the hypnotist. And
Yeah,
a lot of people struggle with selling themselves.
Product went from shoes to cell phones to books and random gadgets and doodads, and
Yeah.
now the product is my shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I also, funny enough, have a sales background.
Yes.
Funny enough, that's obviously a recurring thing, and I'd say a lot of people who are sort of self-made maybe is they have a bit of a sales marketing background.
Yeah. I think that's super, super important.
It is.
Like when you don't know what you want to do,
yeah.
you may as well have at least one job under your belt where you do sales.
Yeah.
And you have that opportunity to learn that skill set, because
Yeah.
like even if you never end up selling your own products, even if that just learning how to sell, you can walk into an interview and sell the interviewer on hiring you as their next employee.
Yes.
And that skill,
Dude.
oh my God.
In your life, you walk up to a girl at the bar. You want to sell yourself, like it's just like stuff that can sort of be ingrained in your subconscious and then you carry throughout your life. Even us, as we're speaking here on the internet, we use our hands in certain ways and we phrase things in certain ways. We just can't help it. We spent time doing sales, so we had that reflection point, and it's just a part of our being now, period. And I know that I didn't go as far as you did, and that's something I really respect about.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't think.
It's just this is it. It comes back to like discipline. I wasn't very disciplined as a salesman.
Okay.
Like you came from discipline, and so you brought that discipline into the sales.
Okay.
And maybe money, you had a certain view of money, so it was able to motivate you in that way. Because that's the difference between me and my brothers, is they are motivated by earning money, so they're willing, like they're both insane salesmen. And same thing, like look at them and go like, holy shit, like, but what I have, I know is a very genuine heart approach to sales, and it has nothing to do with money. So I'm happy about that, because that works. That's the best strategy when it comes to my music. I am now starting to mend my relationship with money, so I'm starting to change my flip that perspective. So now when I think about money, it is in a more healthy way, because for a while I did sort of push it away from myself, because I was like, I don't want to be monetarily focused, because I need my life and my world to be pure or whatever.
Right.
But flipping that switch to realize that, no, money, if I gain more money, it's going to help me be more pure and from my heart, because I will have more time to do my habits, more time to invest in things that make me feel good.
Exactly.
And experience. I can go travel the world and become, again, a better person, a more knowledgeable person. So then just flipping that switch and starting to become friends with money now will allow me to be a better salesman in that way. But that's right. I look at you guys and I see that you have that healthier relationship with money. So that's something that I admire.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes.
I don't see that myself, so that's cool. But of course, when you're in something, you don't necessarily see it. You need that outside wide-angle lens to be able to see what's going on.
See, there's just another tangent we can go into where, like, we're kind of labeling all the things that sort of defined us in these ways. Well, we're both videographers. We both love to capture moments. That has to do with flipping perspective, because if you're capturing a wedding or a band, you can't just like one angle. That's boring.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyone could do that. They could just set up a camera and just, all right, now we
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
But if you watch that, I don't know. That gets me kind of thinking.
I know.
We have one
camera. I know, dude. One angle. That's why I'm trying to I'm really trying to like here and there I'll be like turning more and like, you know.
Do you think we could get foot activated things that change the camera angle?
Probably.
That'd be kind of cool, because then
even a Bluetooth keyboard though with hotkeys right here, so I could just
yeah.
But no, you're right. Bluetooth foot activated.
Yeah. Or I mean, even if it was a keyboard, just hit space or something.
True.
Whatever.
Or if you miss it and you cancel the stream, it's shit.
Well,
Don't
I mean,
put that button on.
If it was
on the
canceled, then at least it's still recording. Though. I mean,
True.
It's still have
True.
content from that.
I like the colors. I love the colors, man.
Yeah, man. I try to wear at least something colorful because I know that
You're on the white
I need
side.
to pop a little bit. Actually, that doesn't matter. I could wear something dark and still.
I like that we're standing because I can move around so much.
It is nice. It is
It's
nice.
Like we can pace around and yeah.
But yeah, man, like when you are capturing moments, you need those different angles. You need to be able to capture the viewer's attention
You do.
and hold it in some way.
Perspectives.
Exactly. Instead of like everybody, if you get them to take a photo or a video of you, they're going to do it from their perspective.
Yeah.
But if you just change that perspective, all of a sudden the depth becomes more grand, the angle is
Yeah.
more interesting and dynamic, and then all of a sudden you're getting something that no one ever sees.
Yes.
Like maybe you bring it all the way down to the ground. So next time someone asks you, hey, can you take a picture of our group? Okay. Just try to do something else. Like if you have 4 people there and you're going to take a picture of them, don't cut it off right at their heads.
Yeah.
At least show the background.
Yeah.
Like how many times have you had somebody take a picture for you and then you're like, man,
It
I
has
don't even know
happened.
where I am.
I know. I can't use this basically.
Like,
But that's from our heightened like you could have come on, dude.
oh, you know what? They need an app where it's like, okay,
Ah.
if you're going to get somebody to take a picture of you,
Ah.
you color this area for where you want the people to be
That's cool.
or something. So you take it and you're like, okay,
You know what I do?
put us there.
You know what I do? I say, hey man, have fun with it. Take a couple different angles. Like just try different things out.
That's a good one.
Just do it, do what your heart tells you, but like have fun. And then they normally they're like, okay. And then I've asked them to do more, so they're like, I can't just do the normal. So they're like, okay. And at the same time, I'm like, all right, group, like every time he takes a picture, this is one of my mom's tools because she's a professional photographer.
Right.
So she has a thing where like you hear the shutter on a camera when you're doing a photo shoot, and she says, okay guys, so every time you hear the shutter, I need you to do a different thing. Whether that's a different face, a different body movement, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even take it to the point where it's like, all right guys, right? Like let's move. Every time that shutter clicks, we move. Oh, like, all right, I don't know. And then you're like, I don't know what to do. But then you do it so much and you look back at the photos and all of a sudden you have one where everybody was just like in this goofy whatever, and you get such a genuine moment.
Right.
Right? And then at the same time, because you're challenging all the people, the guy's like, oh shit, I have to think about this because they're thinking about this. It just ups everybody's game.
Right. And then not only that, but they're just a random person walking through the street.
Yes.
You stop them to take a photo for you, and now all of a sudden they're going to walk away with a smile because it's like, hey, these guys are awesome. Right? They get an
Exactly.
experience at the same time.
Exactly.
So instead of just bothering somebody
Yeah.
and then being like, yeah, sure, whatever. Here. There you go.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're done and walk away. Now it's like they're smiling and like, okay. Like they feel a little silly, but like you guys are being silly at the same time. It makes them feel better. And then
Disarm everybody.
now they have a story to tell the next interaction he
Exactly.
or she has with the next
Yeah.
human being.
I took this. These people stopped me. I took this photo. It was a lot of fun. And then they'll think about their framing because you've challenged them to think about it, the perspectives, and that's important in my world. Perspective is so important, and even just challenging my own perspective and trying to have 3 perspectives on a scenario minimum. Mine, theirs, an outside one. Like, even that's kind of what we have here. That's very interesting that I say that. Good one, Saul. We've got my perspective,
Yeah.
we've got your perspective, and then we've got your guys' perspective. And that's the ultimate triangle right there. That's very cool.
Amen.
We have a source of reflection where afterward, like, we're experiencing this in this moment together. Like, I'm having my experience, my thoughts, you're having yours.
Right.
And then we have a reflection point to later.
Exactly. And then future us is going to go through this episode.
Yes.
And it's going to find this section, and it is going to cut this section
Oh.
and place it onto one of the social media platforms.
Oh.
Because we're talking about the podcast in the podcast.
Oh my God.
Which is
Podcastception.
meta.
It's very meta. Podception. Here we go.
Oh no.
We're in the pod.
We're probably actually going to go through and
Oh, we will.
get that clip.
Oh, we will. Guaranteed. Clip it. Snap. This has been very fun.
Yeah, I like this.
Like, flawless. Victory.
Yeah, like you said, we were like just hitting our stride. I think we're in our stride now.
We're in it.
We're going.
We're in it.
This is, I think, the way to go.
Hell yeah. We're both activated, standing, so why not
Yeah.
activate ourselves?
You know what? This is almost like having a walk.
It is.
Like, even though we're just standing still,
Yeah.
the fact that we're using our voice and we're moving our body, we're interacting in this way.
Yeah.
We're using our insides, we're using our lungs, we're speaking.
Yep.
Like not many days you get to go out and actually have a conversation like this.
It's true.
I think we burned a lot of calories just standing here.
Well,
talking.
we took caffeine as well, so we're like
That too.
our shit's activated
Yeah.
as well as standing.
That's true.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that brought up another point for me that I kind of wanted to make, which is how I improved on my voice. Again, reflection to me is everything. So being able to look back on this and actually watch through it
Mm-hmm.
will improve the next time because there's all these subconscious pointers we'll take.
Which that's hard to do.
It is.
Like I understand fully what it's like to not like hearing your own voice.
But that's
because you don't hear
you don't.
the way your voice is. But eventually you just get to the point where it's like, yeah, that's me.
You're challenging. We're going to be challenging our egos in those moments because as you watch it, your ego is reacting,
Yeah.
and you're like ooh, I don't like how I talk, or I don't like how I say that, or like, oh, I was a little bit this, a little
Right.
bit that.
Right.
But then as you do that, guess what? The next time you go to podcast, you're
Yeah.
conscious of that, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to be as in this emotion because
Mhm.
I didn't really enjoy that emotion from myself, and I know I'm going to have to watch this one. So now I automatically, my body has been trained to go into a certain relaxed, chill state because I don't want to look back at it because I know I'm going to have to.
Yep. See, the only way to change something is to be self-aware of it.
Yes,
If you don't become self-aware of something that you do, there's no way that you're going to be able to change it.
very true.
So, like, I used to say and
Yep.
a lot more. Like,
Yep.
Sometimes I
happens.
say it.
Still happens. Me too.
But when I say it, I know I said it,
yes,
which
You're conscious.
reduces it over time. So, like,
Yeah,
eventually there will be a day where I don't say or
absolutely.
and I will just go through. Yeah.
So with that reflection point, that's actually how I became the vocalist that I am because my dad bought me a USB recording mic, and I went totally obsessive recording like nonstop for like a year. And
This was in Vancouver?
this was in Saskatoon.
Before
Yeah, this was like
Vancouver?
grade 9. This was like
Okay.
I just got my shit. Grade 10. So I like hitting my stride as a musician a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my God, now I can hear myself. And that reflection point taught me a sick amount about my voice. And I would sit there and I would do 100 takes on a song because I'm like, no, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. So I see reflection as a tool of evolution. Like we've actually evolved to the point where I can speak into this microphone. We're sending that signal directly into our own ears. You don't think that, like, that's a reflection point right there, that if we were just talking to each other in this room, we wouldn't be hearing our voices as much. So we're much more self-aware of how we're speaking because it's being pumped into our own ears.
Exactly. And it ensures that we don't speak too far from
Yes.
the mic.
Yes. It teaches you physics as well in a weird way,
Yeah.
speaking into a microphone. It's very interesting. And then
Yeah.
same thing as like watching ourselves. We'll look back. We'll see our physical selves.
Yeah, and if we do something silly, we'll be like, come on, dude, what are you doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
I've even thought about that, about the amount I'm moving. I'm like, am I going to watch back in a
Or doing
self-aware
doing the toe thing,
Exactly.
going up on your toes.
I'm like, am I going to watch back and be like, you moved way too much, Saul?
Hey, it's fine. If you keep doing the toe thing,
It's extra exercise.
somebody will make a video of every time that you did it.
Okay, I like that. I also have to pee right now, so that's part of I'm doing the pee dance right now, admittedly. Yes.
I see. Well, whatever.
I don't know whether to hold out or go pee.
Well, how long have we been going here for?
Hour and a half, something?
Hour and a half. We should probably wrap it up, I think.
I think so. It feels like we could go forever, but this has been good.
That's why we're just going to keep doing more of these episodes.
I look forward to the next one now.
Yeah, man. What do you think? Should we do Monday again? Like, comment, send us an email on whatever platform that you're listening to this on, and let us know what day you would prefer to have this on. Like, obviously, currently, as of this exact moment, our uploads to our audio platform are behind.
Yes.
We're going to catch up with that
right away.
In just a couple days.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, our workflow will be we record, we broadcast record at the same time, and then immediately after we upload, right?
Yeah.
So that people can hear immediately. Because I think
same day.
By doing this Monday morning, we want people to be able to hear it on their way to work too.
Absolutely.
So they're listening on their podcast apps, so we need to be in those podcast apps.
I got to pee too bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. We're the Singer and the Hypnotist.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you on the next episode.
I got to go.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Peace.